on the screen? Let's wait till we see ourselves. That's how we know. There we are. Hi, everybody. Here we go. Let's sing again. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov, yadadai, yadadadadadadai. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov, yadadai, yadadadadadadai. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Let's try that one more time. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. There it is. For those of you that I haven't met, I am Rabbi Sarah Bassin. I have had the pleasure of working and studying with Ella, not just this past year, but since she came to Temple Emmanuel. And it's a joy and a privilege for me to be officiating at this service along with Cantor Lizzie Weiss. But we're not the stars of the show. It's Ella who is going to be demonstrating all of the knowledge that she has built and gained and learned over the past number of years here with you today. And in order to get this service started, I want to welcome her brother Leon up to the bima. Leon is going to present her with a talit. Yeah, make sure you grab that talit from your mom. Leon is going to present Ella with a talit. And within Jewish tradition, this is a very significant piece of religious garb, right? The only part of it that's actually important are the fringes at the end, these little strings with knots in it. Those are known as the tzitzit. Oh, thank you. I forgot to put mine on. I'll put mine on at the same time as Ella. So these tzitzit at the end, these fringes with the knots, the numerical value of the tzitzit and the knots adds up to 613. Significant in Jewish tradition because that's the number of mitzvot, of commandments, that you, Ella, are taking upon yourself today. So whenever you look down at these fringes, this is a reminder of the fact that you are no longer a child, the fact that you are choosing to become a responsible adult, a full community member. So the honor is yours. He's got it.
Ella, may you live to see your dreams fulfilled. May your destiny be for a world still to come. And may you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be filled with insight. May your songs of praise ever be upon your tongue, and may your vision be on the straight path before you. May your eyes shine with the light of holy words, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness. A Jewish home opens its heart, a child is born, and its link to generations is proclaimed. Today, my sister, nearly grown, is called to read from the Torah, and is welcomed into the congregation. May this moment be blessed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, l'hit atef b'tzitzit.
Amen.
to look good on the YouTube.
How wonderful it is to see so many of my friends and family here with me today. Please join me as we sing Ma Tovu on page 74.
So underneath your chairs, I'm sorry, I should have said this. Underneath your chairs, there are 2 blue books. We're starting with the thinner of the 2. It says Mishkan Tefillah, a Siddur for Shabbat. The other one is the Chumash, which we'll use later during the Torah service. And yes, page 74.
We continue now with a prayer of thanks for our rested and renewed souls after a good night's sleep. Please turn to page 78 for Elohai Neshama. Elohai, Elohai, Elohai Neshama Shenatata We continue with morning blessings, Nasim B'chol Yom, on page 80. Join me in Hebrew and or English. Please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech b'vina, lechavchin ben yom uben laila,
Who has
given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim,
Who opens
the
the
eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim, who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokev kefufim, who lifts up the fallen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim, who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver, who strengthens our steps. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish armim, who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten la'ayaf koach, who gives strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir shenai me'enai, unuma me'afapai,
who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani b'tzelem Elohim,
Who has made me
in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani bat chorin,
who has made me free.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani Yisrael,
Who has made me a Jew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael bigvara, who girds Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael betifara, who crowns Israel with glory. We continue with the blessings for Torah study on page 88.
You may be seated.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
We continue with Elu Devarim on page 88. These words remind us of our most holy commandments. Elu Devarim, she'ein lahem shiur. These are things that are limitless. Kibud avayim, honor one's father and mother. Ugmilot chasadim, engaging in deeds of compassion. Rosh kamat bat hamidrash, shacharit ve'arvit.
Arriving early for study,
morning and evening. Vachnasat orchim,
dealing graciously with guests,
uvikur cholim,
and visiting the sick,
Vachnasat kala,
providing for the wedding couple,
Vu'at hamed,
accompanying the dead for burial,
Me'iun tefillah,
being devoted in prayer,
Havat shalom, ben adam lechavero,
and making peace among people.
Talmud Torah keneged kulam,
But the study of Torah encompasses them all.
We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 90. Yid Gadol, Yid Kadash, Shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
Be'alma, Dirach, Yirotei, Ve'amlich Malchutei, Bechayechon Uvyom Echon, Uchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uviz Mahan Kariv, Ve'imeru, Amen, Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach,
Le'alam ulam me'amaya, Yitbarach.
Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitroham, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yit'aleh, V'yithalal, Shmei Dekudashah, Brihu, Le'ela, Mincho, Birchata, Beshirata,
Tushbechata v'nehemata, da'amiran be'alma.
Ve'imeru, Amen. Please rise for a call to prayer, the Baruchu on page 108.
Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We now continue with Yotzer Or on page 110. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer Or uvrei choshech, osei shalom uvrei et hakol. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness. He makes peace and fashion all things. In mercy, you illuminate the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness, you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works. Adonai, in wisdom you form them all. filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai our God, for the excellent work of your hands and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMe'orot. We now continue with Shema on page 114. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We now continue on page 116 with Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha bedibarta bam beshivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leod al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha v'isharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzotai v'ten kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher chotzeiti echem meretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem
Adonai Lechem.
We sing our song of freedom, Micha Mocha, on page 122. We rise for the Amidah on page 124. Adonai sefatai tiftach uvia gitehilatecha Adonai sefatai tiftach חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מחלקל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ברופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל.
We continue on page 130 with the Kedusha. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשם מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו, ומושיענו וישמיענו רחמיו לעיני כל החי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, מלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. You can go get the mic. It's okay.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול, כי אל מלך גדול, וקדוש אתה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני האל, האל הקדוש.
Please continue with the remainder of the Amidah through page 142, using the words on the page or the prayers in your heart. When you are finished, you may be seated.
And just before we continue with our prayers, if I could ask everybody, I know that the masks are annoying and frustrating, but if everybody would please do your best to keep them both over your mouth and over your nose so that we can keep everybody feeling safe. Thank you.
Please join me for O Say Shalom on page 142. I would like to invite all my friends to join me.
That's you guys. It's a socially distanced position.
O say shalom, b'mama. O say shalom, b'mama. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. 2, 3, 4. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. B'mama. Oh, say shalom. B'mama. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu.
So this pandemic has upended a lot of our worlds. For many of our B'nai Mitzvah students, they were already deep in their study of Torah, writing their sermons, of learning their portions, when they had to change the date of their service. So today, Ella is going to recite from her original Torah portion, Parshat Tazria, which is actually not the Torah portion that's associated for today. So she's going to share her amazing words of Torah, which I'm really excited for you to hear her sermon on Parshat Tazria. But I want to share some words of Torah with you on Parshat Ki Teitzei. This parsha opens with a very timely directive about how we ought to conduct ourselves in war, what our obligations are to civilians. It's really hard to think about right now. It's a difficult text to read in face of what's happening in Afghanistan. Wherever you fall on the political spectrum, whatever you think of the withdrawal, we can all agree about the profound human tragedy of the people that we leave behind who are suffering under Taliban rule. But what's extraordinary, even in our biblical texts, is that we have a sense of obligation to civilians in time of war, whether it's in how we shouldn't destroy their source of food, or how we must restrain ourselves from gender-based violence that is often a horrific tactic of war. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all religions actually have really robust constraints on the terror of war through their own sense of just war teachings. what constitutes a legitimate fight, when we should stop fighting, who is a combatant, and how we differentiate between them and civilians. But it's also true that practitioners of religions tend to fall short sometimes of our core teachings. So in the aftermath of this war, the aftermath of this unfathomable human cost, both in American and Allied lives and in Afghan civilian lives, we're all confronted with the ways in which we haven't quite lived up to the demands of our tradition. But we're not helpless. Even in this moment of desperation, organizations around the world are stepping up to mitigate the tragedy. And there's an extraordinary organization in the Jewish community that many of you may be familiar with, HIAS, the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. And they have built a robust response to this crisis in Afghanistan. So if you are moved by the images that you see on the news, if your heart is torn by the desperation of our allies and of the women who are left behind, I encourage you to please go to hias.org, HIAS, to see what you can do. This tragedy is not owned by any political party or even by the government. It's something that we all own. So let us do our best to live up to our call of our tradition and allow the ethics that we hold so dear to actually carry them with us, even in war. We continue with our Torah service. And to open the ark, I'd like to welcome up Fari Baminu, Sonia Mendoza, Kaya Yusufpour, if she's here, Rebecca Horowitz, Jonas Abeti, and Senji Rangel. To pass the Torah, Deborah Avari, and of course, Ella's mom, Ladan, if you would please come forward.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'ma'asecha, malechutecha malchut kol amim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam v'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim eitiv v'yitzoncha et Zion. Tivne chomot Yerushalayim. Tivne chomot Yerushalayim. Kivecha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa, Adon olamim. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, u'devar Adonai Yerushalayim.
So this moment that you are about to witness of the passing of the Torah from one generation to the next is my favorite moment of the service. Because all of the wisdom that is contained within this text, it's true that it hasn't changed over the last 2,500 years. But what's also true is that each and every generation makes the text in here their own, adds their own layer of interpretation. And Ella, as this text is handed to you, as this sacred text comes to your possession, we know that you too are going to add your wisdom that will be passed on to the next generation. we offer a blessing of gratitude for any sort of joyous occasion when we come to it for the first time in life or in a season, the Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu vekimanu vehigianu lazman hazeh.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai iti, uneromemo Shemo yachad. Ella is going to walk around, but we kindly ask that you blow a kiss to the Torah and not touch the Torah today. Lecha Adonai hagedula, vehagivura, vehatiferet, vehanetzach, vechachon. Ki chol bashamayim uvaretz, ki chol bashamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, v'yamid na'aseh lechol erosh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'yishtachavu lehar kodsho.
So you may all be seated. For those who do want to follow along as Ella is reading from the Torah, you can do so. It's in the larger of the two blue books. She's going to be starting on page 735 for Parshat Tazria, page 735. And we have a tradition here at Temple Emmanuel that whenever we invite up somebody for the honor of receiving an aliyah, we don't just make the experience right here of reciting the honor to be joyous, we make the whole thing fun. So Cantor Weiss is going to sing up our first aliyot. The more enthusiasm from you, the better.
ויעזור ויגן ויושיע והושים בו ונאמר
אמן.
אמן. הכבוד אלוהינו תנו כבוד לתורה. יעמדו ורוניקה ודבורה ודוד כמנה. אלך עמדה ליבי וחוסנה וענה תתעלם. Let's see David. אלך עמדה ליבי וחוסנה וענה תתעלם. אלך עמדה ליבי וחוסנה וענה תתעלם.
Wonderful. So you guys are going to do.
Baruch
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemur. Daber el bnei Yisrael lemur. Isha ki tazria ve'elda zachar ve'tam'a shivat yamim kimei nidat devota titma. Uvayom Hashemini yimol besar orlato. Ushloshim yom ushloshet yamim teshev bidmei tahara v'chol kodesh lo tigal v'hamikdash lo tavo ad melot yemei tahara.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayeh olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ya'amdu vida varve majan kiwan farve arman magule ve shiva avari for aliyatu. Sisu et Yerushalayim kiluva, kiluva kolo haveha kolo haveha. Sisu et Yerushalayim kiluva, kiluva kolo haveha. Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Bimne keva hateled, vetam ashevu ahayim kenidata, veshishim yom, vesheshet yamim, teshev al demei tahara, uvim lot yemei tahara, leven olevat tavi, keves ben chenato leola, uven yona otur lachatat, el petach ohel moed, al hakohen, v'higrivo lifnei Adonai, v'chiper alecha, v'tahara mimekur damecha, zot Torat hayoledet, la zachar o la nekeva.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
I'm going to have you guys just be seated right over there while we do a Mishnah. You can go on.
I don't know it.
With the Torah in our midst, we take an opportunity to offer up our most vulnerable prayers for the people in our lives who are in need of healing. So if you want to follow along, it's in the smaller of the two prayer books, page 253 in the middle for Misha Berach. Cantor Weiss will begin singing the prayer. And then I'm going to ask you if there are any names that you want to pray for as part of the community, of people who are in need of healing of mind, of body, of soul, or of spirit. Page 253.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mechor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage
renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Ya'amdu, Ladan and Leon, also known as Leah ve'Ari. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Chai. 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 Sarah, wait, let's make sure they can hear you. I think it's on.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamarach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim Venatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'imlotim sayada, desep lacha shetei torim. O shnei b'nei Yona, echad le'olah ve'echad lachatat, ve'chiper alecha, hakohen ve'tahera. V'daber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon le'emor, Adam, kiev ve'or besaro se'ed, o sapachat, o vahered, ve'chayav ve'or besaro le'nega sara'at, ve'huva Aharon hakohen, o al-achad mibana hakohanim.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chaye Olam Natan Betochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
So, more than any other moment in the entire service, this is the moment where Ella actually becomes a bat mitzvah, where she is called to recite the blessings before and after the reading. So we make a big deal of it. We have Ella stand all the way right back towards the ark, stand all the way back here.
All the way back here.
Perfect. We're going to call you up. The more enthusiasm, the better. Cantor Weiss.
Tamod, 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 Hamaftir, Ella bat Leah habat mitzvah. Hevenu shalom alayich, Hevenu shalom alayich, Hevenu shalom alayich, Hevenu shalom, shalom, shalom alayich.
If you want to follow along for this reading, it's on the bottom of page 759 in the Humash, the bigger of the two books.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
V'hizartem et b'nei Yisrael mitum atam velo yamutu betum atam betam yam et mishkani asher betocham so Torah hazav v'sher tetzeh mimenu shichvat zera letam ava v'chadav bindata v'chazav et zovo l'zachar v'lanekeva ul'ish asher yishkav im Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen. And with that, We give her a big Yasher Koach. She earns strength from reading Torah. So on the count of 3, let's hear Yasher Koach. 1, 2, 3. Yasher Koach! We're going to save the big, Mazel Tov for after her Haftarah, but...
For raising and dressing the Torah, I'd like to welcome back David Achavan and Veronica Abney to the Bima, please.
Yeah, just hold ours. Is there where you put that down?
Yeah, this is you. Do it.
Spin around?
Yes. Yeah.
1, 2.
That's good. 1, 2. Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe.
You can sit.
Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut hasadim, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut hasadim, al shosha devarim ha'olam omed, al shosha devarim ha'olam omed. Such a good speech. Let them understand you. Okay? Slow and steady and wait till we sit down.
I don't know that much about soccer. I like to watch baseball. But there's a really interesting story about the U.S. women's soccer team. The soccer team won the World Cup in 2019. The fans, when they won, started chanting something unexpected. Equal pay, equal pay. What happened was that the men were getting paid a lot more than the women. It wasn't a small difference, it was huge. And on top of it, the women's soccer team was more popular and gaining more attention because they were winning. But they weren't earning as much. That's not fair. It turns out that sexism is a bigger problem than we thought. It's still around today, and it was certainly around back in the time of the Bible. Here's an example from my Torah portion. In Parshat Tazria, it states, "When a woman at childbirth bears a male, she shall be impure for 7 days. She shall remain in a state of blood purification for 33 days. She shall not touch any consecrated thing or enter the sanctuary until her period of purification is complete. If she bears a female, she shall be impure for 2 weeks, and she shall remain in a state of blood purification for 66 days. There are 2 problems I see with this, both of which are sexist. First, what's the reason they believe she's impure in the first place? Because she had a kid? That seems sexist, and I don't know why they feel that way. If nobody gives birth, how do you keep civilization going? We'll all go extinct. Second, there's the difference of the length of how long she's impure, depending on whether she has a girl or a boy. If she has a boy, it's a total of 33 days. If she has a girl, it's a total of 66 days. It doesn't make sense. It has me asking, what did women ever do to cause this madness? There's a commentary I found that interprets the added time of impurity for a baby girl as a positive thing. According to Beth Alpert Nakai, there is evidence to suggest that girls were sometimes thought of as expendable. In times of need, famine, and war, baby girls might suffer hunger and neglect, or even be abandoned and left to die. The priestly authors seem to be concerned about this situation and try to avert such tragedies by ensuring that the baby girls stay within their mother's protective care for an extended period of time. But I don't buy that. I think that the priestly authors are scared of the power women have to give birth. They saw it as almost a kind of dark magic that needed to be contained. And when a woman gave birth to a girl, they thought it was an even darker magic. There's this weird relationship that our ancestors had with blood. They respected it because they thought the life force was in it, but they were scared of it at the same time. But blood is a part of life. Without blood, we'd all die. I found a great poem by Rabbi Tikva Freimer-Kensky about how we could think about blood and childbirth differently, in a way that didn't make women's ability to give birth seem like dark magic. In the blood of the mother you come, blood washing over you, purifying you, cleansing you, anointing you. In the blood of life you come, essence of life, purest of the pure. The flowing of blood carries us between worlds. The poem says that blood can be a good thing. Blood isn't scary when it's natural. It's only scary when we're bleeding uncontrollably. The Bible treated women unfairly, and they weren't as able to stand up for themselves. But today, women fight for their rights. We protest, we strike, we boycott, and we just speak up when things are unfair. And it has made a difference. Women can now have their own property. They can control their own money. They can work if they want, and their options of work aren't limited like they used to be. We've come so far, and we still have a lot of work to do. When women are paid less, we still need to call it out as unfair. It's important to notice that we've not yet had a woman president, and sometimes women still get treated differently than men for no good reason. For my Bat Mitzvah project, I worked with an organization called Jewish World Watch, or JWW for short. JWW helps refugees and ends genocide. While this may not seem exactly connected to women's issues, it is. Women who are refugees are particularly vulnerable and are often victims of rape and assaults. By helping create safe places for refugees, JWW helps women. Last year, before the pandemic hit, my Bar Mitzvah weekend was going to be on the same weekend as the JWW Walk to End Genocide. I was excited to invite all of you to join me in the walk, but as we know, the world changed. If you would still like to help Jewish World Watch, please contribute to jww.org. We all have to be willing to speak up for women's equality and stand up for women's rights. It's not just something women should do, it's something we all should do. I hope that as you leave here today, they have more awareness of how differently people are still treated, and that when there's an opportunity to speak up for women's equality and rights, that you do. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Yasher koach.
I will continue with my Haftarah, originally for Rosh Chodesh, on page 1684. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'invi'ei ha'emet v'sedek. Ko amar Adonai hashmayim kisif haaretz hadom raglai eze vayit asher tivnu li ve'eze makom menuchati vet kol ele yadi asata vahiyu kol ele na'um Adonai v'ze abid el ani uncheruach v'chared al devarai shochet hashor makeish zoveach haseh oref kelev ma'ale mincha dam chazir mazakir levona mevarech aven gam hema bacharu bedarchehem uvshikusehem nafsham chafetza gamani evchar betalulehem umgrotam avi lahem ya'an karati ben one dibarti velo shameu v'ya'asu hara be'enai uvasher lo chafasti bacharu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, hahel ha'ne'eman, ha'omer be'oseh, ha'mdaber u'mkayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah ve'ha'avodah ve'ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu echad Adonai Eloheinu, Likdusha v'limnucha le'havod ultifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yibrachimcha befi kol chai ta'mi le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shema.
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Wait a second. We're going to throw things in a parabola shape as to not hurt Ella and not to hurt the Torahs. And we're going to say, first of all, a big mazel tov, and then we're going to sing. So 1, 2, 3, mazel tov! Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Hey lanu, you got to get them one side here. Hey lanu, ulecha Yisrael. Hey lanu, ulecha Yisrael. Siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Hey lanu.
Now, even though I'm pregnant, I am not able to eat all of these candies by myself. So if there is anybody who has interest in coming up to collect and keep some of them for yourself, please, please, please come up and help us clean out the bima and get
Come
some of
on.
those candies.
Come on.
Come on.
All right, then, come on, kids. If you find a green one, give it to me.
Is green lime?
You like that?
I prefer lemon.
You prefer lemon? If you find a yellow one, give it to the bat mitzvah girl.
Oh, right by her feet.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you. She likes
I do,
green.
but it's okay. All right, you can put it in.
Where do I put it?
You don't really need this.
As we prepare ourselves to return the Torah to the Ark, I'd like to invite up our second group of Ark openers, Dan Rutterman and Navid Josai, if you would please come forward. Just you. Yeah, come on up. Navid, would you grab the Torah for us over there? And if you would come over here, Dan.
Ki lekach tov natati lahem torati al tazovu et chaim hi lamachazikim ba mechochecha eushar derachecha darchei noam bechol netivotecha Shalom, Hashivenu Adonai, Elecha Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine on you and be good to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom.
May you always feel a presence greater than yourself, and may that presence bring you a sense of wholeness and of peace. And together we say,
Amen. How are you going to do? I'll take that.
Mom, thank you for being the best mom on the planet. You're always working so hard to take care of us and provide for us. Thank you for fighting for me and Leon all the time and for being there for us. I love you so much. Leon, you literally saved my life that time when I was choking on celery. You did the Heimlich maneuver on me. I am so grateful and know that I am alive today because of you. You also are the reason that I got into City, and I love City so much. So thank you very much. I never say this, but I love you. Shelley, thank you for tutoring me in Hebrew. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know any of this right now. Rabbi Basson, thank you for helping me write my sermon and for officiating my bat mitzvah. And thank you for mentoring me and educating me in Jewish values, social justice, Jewish culture and traditions, and my bat mitzvah process. Cantor Wise, thank you for coaching me thoroughly and patiently through the home stretch. And thank you for singing along with me and chanting the prayers with me and helping me when I get stuck. I'd like to thank all the religious school teachers for making religious school fun and having an everlasting impact on my Jewish education. David Achavan, I'm grateful for you being like a big brother to me and generously offering me your time, love, and wisdom. To all my friends and family, thank you for being here. It means so much to me. I'm so grateful to have all of you in my life. I'm grateful to relatives who traveled from out of town to be here. Thank you.
Ella, my neshama, you're one of the most compassionate, passionate, and generous people I know. I can't take any credit for it because you were like this from day one. I think you got the genes from your grandma, Mama, whom you also look like. You care about everybody. Compassion is in your bones. As a child, I don't remember a single time that we passed by a homeless person and you didn't ask me to donate money or food to them. You looked forward to our going to the mission and making sandwiches for the homeless. Your generosity humbles me. Several years ago, I remember you had saved money for months, and then came Leon's birthday. You spent all of your money to buy him a toy that he liked, Nerf guns, and you didn't care at all that it depleted all of your savings to the last dollar. Every time you get something you love, whether it's your favorite dessert, your favorite toy, your favorite activity, anything, you always offer to share it with others. Sharing brings you joy, even when it means there is less for you. You are noble, or as your sixth grade teacher, Ms. Jayenka, put it, you are an evolved soul. You do the right thing, and you root for the right thing, even when it's difficult, and even when it's at odds with your own interests. The latest example of this is when recently I was expressing hope that one of your friends goes to the same high school as you, and you objected and said, you hope they go to this other school because they prefer that school. You put your friend's interests ahead of your own. You inspire me to be a better person. You are fun to be with. You bring energy, positive outlook that I can definitely use, fun and music to our home. You're feisty and you add zest to pleasures of life. Food, movies, singing, playing games, or even chilling, as you would put it. You're strong and courageous. I admire it even when I don't like it, like when you stand up to me. Your courage sometimes gets you in trouble with me, but boy, oh boy, it has saved the day on multiple occasions, and I'm grateful for it. When you were younger and people ask you what you want to be when you grow up, kids usually say, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a doctor, things like that. You always said you want to be a superhero. In my book, you and Leon are superheroes. You meet all the criteria with flying colors, and I'm not exaggerating. Now, as a young adult, you want to become an environmental scientist. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Climate change is a ticking bomb. It takes more than one person. It takes everybody. It takes people of all ages, all professions, all walks of life to neutralize it. A superhero, an environmental scientist is not going to do it. But I hope that you channel your passion, your creativity, and your tenacity to not just inspire us, the generations that created this bomb, but also to demand that we do better. You could get me to learn how to cook, you can do anything. You can also get me and others to be more responsible with the environment. I'm supposed to share my hopes and dreams for you, and I've been thinking about it. The thing is, my hopes and dreams for you are intertwined with my hopes and dreams for Leon, for your friends, and for all teenagers. Because you're in this together, and you can only fix it together. I hope that you bundles of energy don't shy away from using every opportunity, like today, to make a difference. I think the biggest impact we adults over 18 have on the environment is not what car we drive, is not what kind of food we eat, is not how much energy we consume. It's our votes in elections. Imagine if you, your friends' friends, you all ask your parents to pledge that you would never vote for a climate change denier, no matter how aligned they may be with everything else you believe in. Imagine if everyone used this as their litmus test for voting. Teenagers can tell their parents, forget about college funds, forget about inheritance, forget about home, car. If you care about me, don't vote for a climate change denier. I hope that you all join the Sunrise Movement. I hope you don't feel that you should be polite or even patient with us. I hope that you demand what we owe you, starting with putting people in public office that will follow scientists' advice on climate change. They say it takes a village to raise a child. I'm lucky to have had an amazing village to help me. Veronica Abney, Tria, David, Dara, you made me believe in angels. There are no words that can express how grateful I am to you. Deborah, thank you for years of endless love, support, and wisdom. Arman, Mojgan, Shiva, Kathy, Dan, Linda, Vida, Sarah, Rabbi Bassin, and Sonia. Thank you for being there when it mattered, for your love and amazing support. Today is so meaningful to me because it's also an opportunity to celebrate the difference you've all made and how much you mean to us. I'm going to end with reading a few verses of a poem I had written for you when you were very young. Even though this is from years ago, amazingly, it still captures very well how I see you to this day. I conceived you, but could have never conceived of you. You're fantastic beyond my fantasy. You're so you, and that's all that I can say. How surreal is your personality? Determined, but flexible. Strong, but most gentle. Sympathy and care are in your bones. Life, oh life, flows out of your pores. All embracing, all people, all languages, all colors and forms. Your singing, your squealing, your being is melody of joy. You're the Ella in elation. You're my idol. You're my daughter. You're my pulse.
Ella, I'm not sure that I can follow that unbelievable speech. And I'm sure that every child deserves a mom like you. So that was gorgeous. Ella, it happened. If you think it was a dream, it wasn't. And we have it written here. Shabbat, it does say Tazria Metzora, but this is you on the 13th of Elul. So remember this forever. Hang it in your college dorm. I don't know. But
Maybe don't
at
do
least
that.
in your childhood bedroom.
Yeah.
Here we have a Kiddush cup. May this be the first simcha you have, that you take a sip of juice or wine and remember it forever, and perhaps drink it under the chuppah one day or in a variety of simchas in your life. You will also receive a certificate to help towards a trip to Israel and a book, Israel Matters. And we're so proud of you at Temple Emmanuel. We can't wait to see what you're going to do in the future. Mazel tov.
We want to move towards the concluding prayers of our service. And before we recite Kaddish, there are some memories of people in this family that are held very dear. So we bring to mind the names of Mahin Motevakel, Afsana Babazada, Elazar Babazada, Soraya Motevakel, and Huri Motevakel. Is there anybody else who is either in the midst of a period of mourning or observing a yard site who would like to share the name of their loved one? If you would please rise and share that name with us. We rise in solidarity with our mourners as we turn to Kaddish Yatom on page 294 in the prayer book. Yit Kadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. B'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace on high make peace for us, for all who mourn, for all of the people Israel, for all the people of the world. Together we say, Amen.
We are going to close this service by inviting up Ladan and Leon. Why don't we come over here for a final blessing for your journey of life. Why don't you stand down there? Go stand down a step. Come stand next to your mom. Hold this here. All right. Sing this blessing for your journey. Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach on your journey. I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi la. Mazel tov, Shabbat shalom. I believe that there is challah on your way out. And I'm going to do a quick kiddush while we're here so that you can drink and eat. Are you ready? Let's do it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. And for the challah, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.